don't want to keep talking about PDA. I really, really don't. And I keep getting pulled in without my consent or with what I even care about. I have to just defend myself and the points of view that I'm trying to make.
Hi, my name is Asiatu, and this video is in direct response to @diversity and neurodivergence, or @diversityINND on TikTok.
Thank you, Asiatu, for responding. I'm finally happy to have somebody who's a person of color, Black, or part of the community to actually be a part of the PDA discussion. But I gotta say, if you're gonna be critical of me, at least get my account name right. It's Diversity in Neurodiversity. Just saying. So right off the bat, we're really not at a good start. And you know, a video response is what you gotta do. I respect that, but I honestly wish you would have come to me directly via DMs. I am more than open to talking to anybody. And as another person of color or BIPOC, I know I'm sorry if that, because I know you said you don't personally like that, but it's really sad to know that you would rather go and listen to your white counterparts than come to me directly to actually hear my side of the story and how somehow you've been dragged to be involved, which was never even my intention in the first place.
Who had recently made a video attempting to criticize PDA North America for offering a list of racialized autistics, me being one of those people listed. Let me give some context for those who are willfully ignorant and speaking to things they clearly know nothing about. Again, my name is Asiatu, and I'm a Black, trans, agender, queer, multiply neurovaried, ADHD, PDA sociologist, and Spelman College graduate. I'm a late diagnosed autistic and abolitionist. I combine my academic training with my lived marginalized experiences centered in my Blackness and neurovariety via consulting, training, and education. I started coaching professionally in 2009 and expanded to include neurovariety in 2020 when I was diagnosed autistic. I have been quite active in the autistic community where I've orchestrated boycotts, been vocal of the rampant anti-Blackness, have helped hundreds plus people, especially Black, understand their neurovariety, orchestrated direct aid for multiple Black and brown neurovaried people, and much more. I'm a resident speaker of the Autism in Black Yearly Conference, a recently hired intersectional consultant for PDA North America organization, and I have also worked with Amnesty International, Asian Pacific Islander Speech Language Hearing Caucus, Wheaton College, Massachusetts, Neurodivergent Psilocybin Conference, and upcoming Cannabis Conference. I've also been featured on multiple social media interviews as well as podcasts, including Lived Experiences Are Greater Than Degrees. I was also one of the few autistic consultants for the recently released book, Is This Autism? A Guide for Clinicians and Everyone Else by Donna Henderson and Sarah Wayland with Black autistic Janelle White, published in June 2023. And with that said, I'm going to break down their video.
So you start off listing your credentials, which, you know, it's impressive and that's great, but also I don't see why it's relevant even to the video that I briefly have you in, and I never even discounted your background, your qualifications, your PDA, nothing directly about your experience. The point of that video that briefly mentions you in that one video was my very biased annoyance with what happened with Dr. Day earlier that day and the day before, where I was tagged in an Instagram story that I did not consent to be tagged to, nor was anybody giving me any notification that I was going to be tagged in this. And then all the things that happened where I was no longer I was untagged, I was removed when we weren't part of this vetted list, yada yada. But unlike you all, Taylor has at least apologized for her mistake and is really actually taking the time to read the research that Callie has provided for free, that's in my link tree, and go and take the time to watch many of my PDA videos that point out my actual argument or my critical view of PDA, not this made up bullshit that you seem to be claiming about me and about my point of view and my mutual's point of view.
And showcase why it was problematic. 1. Hypocrisy. A. One can't chastise white people about not being intersectional while simultaneously having issues with PDA North America hiring me and
As far as bringing you in, I was literally just showing what is publicly on PDA North America's website. And visibly showing how white it is, which we both agree is a problem. There is an obvious lack of diversity, and adding you to the board is a start, but that doesn't equate to full diversity or inclusivity. I have no problem with them hiring you. My problem is you're the only one. How diverse is that if you're somehow supposed to be speaking for an entire community of Black people, Hispanics, Asians, and more as one person?
Intersectional educator to learn how to be better. They are committed to growth and training while paying me for my consulting. You can't have it both ways. That's not how it works. B, the only way to grow is to first acknowledge the problem, then take actions to fix it. PDA North America is an organization recognized the lack of inclusion and diversity, acknowledged that it is a problem, and took action to rectify it by hiring me to hold trainings and to diversify content, including representation of other racialized autistics. C, I am not being tokenized, as they implied in their video, which is laughable by anyone who knows me. I would not allow myself to be tokenized by anyone, and everyone who is familiar with my reputation and expertise knows that.
Even if you yourself are actively saying you're not being tokenized, I'm sorry, but you are, just by definition of what tokenization is. What I'm saying and what I was trying to show is that I'm talking about the fact that you as the sole BIPOC on their board is tokenization. It's there to make them look like they're diverse, and they're not. If PDA North America is looking for more BIPOC to have on their board, great. That's even better if they can have more BIPOC on the board of directors or people who have actual power in the organization rather than just your position, which is solely only talking about intersectionality and education in relation to race. That just gives more awareness, but that doesn't actually create any change.
Doesn't know what she's talking about and is speaking ignorantly. And again, this is my profession and work that I get paid to do. Number 2, they mentioned vetted, and they were trying to say that PDA's vetted list of racialized autistics was gatekeeping. That was not true. Vetted was used in the context of agreement, not gatekeeping. As an organization, PDA North America has every right to make sure the people they recommend publicly align with their values, which is logical and typical of organizations or any groups for that matter. It should be commonplace for anyone who speaks publicly to do their research before supporting or attempting to speak poorly about anyone else.
Here's the definition of gatekeeping, just for everybody else. The gatekeeping you're trying to connect in your response isn't even the gatekeeping that I was even referring to in my video. I mentioned gatekeeping in relation to Kathleen, who's an autistic guide, and PDA North America, and not looking at the research my mutual Callie has provided for free and not providing that opposing information to the PDA members and PDA community. The way I see PDA, especially the way it's being used in medicine, is how medicine and doctors provide information. When you are given a label, a diagnosis, etc., those providing the information are responsible for providing all sides, positive and negative effects up front. And not showing the current negative effects is irresponsible. Not explaining the racial discrimination with PDA and ODD and the bias behind this label is irresponsible. And that is where I say the gatekeeping is happening, not this list.